Hi there, Salwe! My name is Mrs. Weiss, and today I'm going to be reading you the story of the Three Little Pigs. But today, a few of the words are going to be in Latin. So first, let me introduce you to those Latin words. This is porcus. What sound does porcus make? Oink. Yeah, porcus likes to oink. He likes to roll around in the mud. Then there's lupus. What does lupus like to do? Well, he likes to howl at the moon, right? He's also very interested in eating little porkum. Then there's a domus. Today I'm here in my domus, and I bet you're also in your domus. And finally, there's the forum. That's where people go to buy and sell things, and they'll go to meet people too. The other two new words that you'll hear, you heard at the beginning when I said salve, and then the other one is very important. It's minime. I bet you'll figure out what that one is. All right, so here's the story of the Three Little Porky. Once upon a time, there was an old sow with 3 little porkies. And as she had not enough money to keep them, she sent them out to seek their fortune. The first little porpoise went off to forum and met a man with a bundle of straw, and said to him, "Salve, sir, would you please give me that straw to build myself domum?" Which the man did, and little porpoise built his domum with it. Presently along came Lupus, and knocked at the door, and said, little porky, let me come in." To which little porpoise answered, "Minime, minime, minime, by the hair of my chinny chin chin." "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your domum in," said Lupus. So he huffed, and he puffed, and he blew domum in, and ate up little porkum. The second little porpoise also went to forum, and met a man with a bundle of sticks, and said, "Salve, sir, would you please give me those sticks to build domum?" Which the man did, and little porpoise built his domum. Then along came Lupus, and said, little porky, let me come in." "Minime, minime, minime, by the hair of my chinny chin chin." "Then I'll puff and I'll huff, and I'll blow your domum in." So he huffed, and he puffed, and he puffed and he huffed, and at last he blew domum down, and ate up the second little porkum. Finally, the third little porpoise went to forum, and met a man with a load of bricks, and said, "Salve, sir, would you please give me those bricks to build domum with?" So the man gave him the bricks, and he built his domum with them. So Lupus came, as he came to the other little porcos, and said, little porky, let me come in." "Minime, minime, minime, by the hair of my chinny chin chin." "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your domum in." Well, he huffed and he puffed, and he huffed and he puffed, and he puffed and he huffed, but he could not get domum down. When he found that he could not, with all his huffing and puffing, blow domum down, he said, little porky, I know where there is a nice field of turnips." "Where?" said little porpoise. "Oh, in Mr. Smith's field. And if you will be ready tomorrow morning, I will call for you, and we will go together and get some for dinner." "Very well," said little porpoise, "I will be ready. What time do you mean to go?" "Oh, at 6 o'clock." Well, little porpoise got up at 5 and got the turnips, and was domey again before 6. When Lupus came, he said, "Little porky, are you ready?" "Ready," said little porpoise. "I have been and come back again, and got a nice potful for dinner." Lupus felt very angry at this, but thought that he would get little porkum somehow or other. So he said, little porky, I know where there is a nice apple tree." "Where?" said little porpoise. "Down at Merry Garden," replied Lupus, "and if you will not deceive me, I will come for you at 5 o'clock tomorrow, and we will go together and get some apples." Well, Little Porpoise woke up at 4 the next morning and bustled up and went off for the apples, hoping to get back before Lupus came. But he had farther to go and had to climb the tree, so that just as he was coming down from it, he saw Lupum coming, which, as you may suppose, frightened him very much. When Lupus came up, he said, "Little Porky, what? Are you here before me? Are they nice apples?" "Yes, very," said little Porpoise. "I will throw you down one." And he threw it so far that while Lupus was gone to pick it up, little Porpoise jumped down and ran domum. The next day, Lupus came again and said, "Little Porky, forum is being held in the town this afternoon. Will you go?" "Oh, yes," said little Porpoise, "I will go. What time shall you be ready?" "At 3," said Lupus. So little Porpoise went off before the time as usual, and arrived 4 and bought a butter churn, and was on his way domum with it when he saw Lupum coming. Then he could not tell what to do, so he got into the churn to hide, and in doing so turned it round, and it began to roll and roll down the hill with little Porco inside it, which frightened Lupum so much that he ran domum without going to forum. He went to domum of little Porky, and told him how frightened he had been by a great round thing which came down the hill past him. Then little Porpoise said, "Ha! I frightened you, did I? I had been to forum and bought a butter churn, and when I saw you, I got into it and rolled down the hill." Then Lupus was very angry indeed, and declared he would eat up little Porcum, and that he would get down the chimney after him. When little Porpoise saw what he was about, he hung on the pot full of water and made up a blazing fire, and just as Lupus was coming down the chimney, little Porpoise took off the cover of the pot, and in fell Lupus. And little Porpoise quickly put on the cover again, cooked him for supper, and lived happily ever after. The end. Thanks for joining me for Latin Storytime today. I look forward to seeing you next time.